after our podcast,
Last week.
I was going to mail you via text message a picture of my face with the word "listen." ... Because I no longer had a mustache. So here's what happened. A tale as old as time, Ben. I was trimming my mustache, and I made that age-old problem of going, there's a little bit too much going on in this corner here. I'm just gonna cut that a little bit off, and then looking at it going, cut a little bit too much off that corner. Gotta even it up on the old other side there. And then
suddenly you're invading Poland.
Is that too small? And then Jennifer going, yeah, you have to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, me going back into the bathroom, making it the can we say the regulation invading Poland width, and then coming out and going, okay, what about now? Is this better? And her saying, just shave it off.
I remember when we went to go see Paul F. Tompkins at Rebar, one of the funniest routines is when he was talking about shaving off your beard in stages. And getting to and ultimately as a dude, you get to the part where you do that. Obviously, you're not going to go anywhere.
Right.
You're not going to be seen in public, but just like, what would I look like?
Yeah. I still am of the opinion that it's too bad. I mean, understandable, right? But it's a fun little thing because you just go the width of your nose maybe. And who is the one person that actually I guess two people I know who did something with it that it sort of worked. Mel Brooks, I think, did it once. But then of course, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, for a little while, had a Hitler stash.
He did?
And he yes.
Wow.
You can look it up. It's like, he was in commercials with it and stuff. And it was one of those things of like, no one is going to mistake Michael Jordan for anyone other than Michael Jordan. It was a testament to his
it's interesting
his longevity.
Don't remember that. I wonder if they addressed that in the documentary on the NBA and Michael Jordan. But
maybe it was. I think it was after he played in the NBA when he was just famous for being Michael Jordan.
I don't know if anybody would be like confusing him for the dude who invaded Poland, but like, because when you see anybody with a Hitler stash, you're not like, oh my God, it's Hitler. No, it's not. That's just some dude with it feels like it's a tribute.
Yeah, you're making a choice. There's not a mistake. All right, Ben. So here we go. It's time to display it. Now,
it's your banjo-lele.
Look at this tension rod in the back here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see, so it's got the straps. As you can see, the straps hook on
tiny neck
to this thing. It does, because it's a ukulele neck.
Yeah.
And a regular sized banjo head. This thing, right? Hold on. This thing right here, which I refer to as the mouse trap. If you touch it too much or brush it against anything, it'll slam down super fast because it's holding the strings up, the tension wise. And because of this drum, it makes the loudest sound possible, frightening you and making you think, oh my God, I've just broken my ukulele, even though you haven't.
Technically, that's not a bridge, right? What would you call that?
What is that called? I don't know what that's called. Thanks. But yeah.
Or the I don't know nut. What it is. The nut is a different
thing. I think this is the nut, right?
Yeah, that's the nut. I know, because whenever I buy a ukulele, I have to break the nut off and turn it around and re-glue it because I'm left-handed, and you cannot buy
I'm serenading. You can't buy left-handed ukuleles, is what Ben's saying.
Correct.
So anyway, what do you think? Can you hear it?
No, because Zoom is terrible at music, and so it's doing that thing where it sounds like crap over. So if anybody watches this on YouTube, it's gonna sound terrible, but I'm sure it'll sound fine on the podcast.
So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain, sort of like that. Yeah, I sang it wrong so that we didn't have to pay any rights to it.
That's why.
Also, I'm wearing these headphones, and there's a weird noise canceling thing, so I can't really hear what I'm playing. But anyway,
take one
it's
ear
great.
off then.
Oh, it's pretty much in tune. So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain. Am I doing it backwards? So no, it doesn't matter, Ben. It doesn't matter in the end.
I don't know that song.
It's Wish You Were Here. Or I mean, it was nothing. If anybody, yeah, but anyway, so there it is. Can you hear how? Oh no, you can't. We've already talked about this. It sounds really nice, and it's very solid. The neck, and this part, and all. It's a very expensive ukulele that I got for very cheap because I was in Canada.
Right.
And nobody wanted to buy it in Canada.
Well, how much did you pay for that?
Well, Ben. Oh, shoot. Oh, no. Oh, dear. Remember that thing that I was talking about? The
mousetrap?
The mousetrap? Well, I was saying, wow, this sounds better than it ever has before. It's because this part of it fell off, and now it's just sitting right there on the...
I can't see what you're pointing to.
Okay, so this is supposed to be under here.
Ah. So the mousetrap flipped, and then when you put it back, you forgot a piece.
Yeah, it fell. It shot it out. I'm thinking that I don't think I'm going to change it. Oh, but it might affect the drum. So many problems, Ben.
It's probably such a narrow point of contact that you have to worry about it wearing out that part of the drum.
Mm-hmm. I think you're probably right. Oh well, I'll figure it out. But it just sounded so much better. It sounds so much better now. I don't know. Ugh. Unsure.
I've been looking into how to renew my passport. My passport's been expired for 11 years now. And I need to make an appointment to go in. I just had my picture taken, a new picture, and I have to make an appointment to go in. But the problem is I have to apply to get a brand new passport because it's been more than 15 years since the issuance of my previous one. So I can no longer just renew. I have to apply for a brand new one, which is a drag. I hope they're able to put all of my old pages in my new passport.
Oh, no. Well, the one thing I will say, an issue that I ran into or heard about is that they're kind of backed up as far as stuff goes. Are you planning on leaving the country anytime soon?
I am not, but I'm sure that within the next year, I probably will want to. And so I hear the backup is like 4 to 6 months, which is fine for me.
Yeah. As long as you don't have to leave right away.
There are services for that. Like if I had to go somewhere, I could pay an expedited service.
I'm thinking of travel and things because I wanted to let you know I have seen White Lotus season 1.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. And
the colonizing season.
Yes. Yes. I thought it was nice in the end, at the very end, when the spoilers for the White Lotus season 1, when the kid ends up uh, doing the rowing thing.
Yeah, he stays back and he's
Yeah,
found life is essentially what it is.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
and
purpose.
and of course, I was a little bit when Paula, I believe her name is, ruins Kai's life
Yeah.
basically, and it's not something that he really even wanted to do, that sort of thing. That was too bad. Uh, I thought that the message there was a little, but she was a child, so it makes a little bit more sense. She can be forgiven for making a bad decision, that sort of
The
thing.
owner of or the manager of the beauty salon, who
Yes.
Jennifer Coolidge was going to offer to front a business and then pulled back. An article just came out yesterday that she is
Mm.
going to be in White Lotus season 3. That one character is going
Oh,
to make,
nice.
because she was not in season 2, but she will be in season 3.
That's really cool. I like it when they bring people back. I've watched one episode of season 1. The
Of
change
season
of
2.
oh, sorry. Yes, of season 2. The change in venue threw me a little bit. It kind of like when in The Wire, when all of a sudden you're in a totally different location. It's
Right.
like, wait.
Yeah. I just got used to these other characters.
Exactly.
You've seen The Last of Us, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I like to believe that at the end of the White Lotus season 1, when Murray Bartlett's character dies,
Uh-huh.
he respawns inside
Nice.
the hole that Nick Offerman had dug. It's the same
That is
character.
that's really nice. I like that a lot.
That's
Um
my own little fan theory.
like like the guy I've mentioned this before. You've seen Succession, right?
Yes, I'm all caught up.
So Tom
Yeah.
is the name of another character that actor plays in MI5, the
Matthew
TV show.
McFadden.
Yes, the TV show that is called Spooks in the UK. That they changed MI5 for obvious reasons in the United States.
Yes.
His name is Tom as well, and I still wish, I still very much hope that, and it's not the case, I know, but that for Succession, in the end, you find out that this is all a UK MI5 op.
Is an operative. I'd believe it.
I think it'd be great. It would be really fun. But so far, no luck. Oh, bad news for me, but I don't need another musical instrument, right? I just showed you the thing that I have.
Yeah.
But there is a machine, and I'm not even going to say the name of it now because I'm sad because it sold out. But it was a synthesizer that I thought was really cool, and I signed up for the Kickstarter for it to be notified when the Kickstarter opened. I never got a notification that the Kickstarter opened, so I missed it. And so I didn't get to order the thing.
What sort of
But it's okay.
synthesizer is it? Or was it?
It is it's called a tape synthesizer. I don't know exactly what it means. I like the form of it, and I like the sounds that it made, but I think it has it actually has tape inside of it, that like a magnetic tape that has the sample on it.
Interesting.
So it's not digital. It's
Going back to analog.
maybe I was going to find out when I got it. But
Digilog.
yeah. Digilog. So let's see. I'm going to the doctor tomorrow. This is stage one of my mental tests,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and we'll see how that goes. I'm concerned about what I'm gonna wear because I want to be comfortable, but I don't want to be, offensive. So I'm thinking maybe this hat, but no, probably not.
Probably
Over
not.
the headphones like
That
this.
might yeah, color their judgment about you.
Yeah. Well, this thing is, I don't want them to think that I'm trying too hard.
Right.
So, that sort of thing. And that's the thing is, I'm sure that they get that a lot more than people trying to be normal. So we'll see. But yeah, it is interesting. There's a part about, are you having a hard time finding work? And I work from home. It's right downstairs.
Yeah.
Ah, but we'll see. I told you about that meeting that I had that led me to this place, right?
Did you?
I went and saw the practitioner, and she explained to me that she is the drug giving practitioner, and that she's not the explain to people, that she's not the testing practitioner.
Okay.
So, um,
But if you
I
want
should have
drugs,
called.
she's your gal.
Well, yes, but also no. I mean, the thing is, this is already, having known me, that I don't think that ADHD medication is going to help me, even if there is a comorbidity that I have with it. It's just going to make me not sleep
Yeah.
and get a whole bunch of stuff done, but not necessarily be sane or okay. And there's no real. This is the thing, is that she said, she recommended that I go to the place because specifically, she thinks that I am on the spectrum, and that knowing would be helpful. She said, but there's no drugs for it, and I'm like, I'm not. I just went to the wrong place.
Yeah.
That's all. Which is fine. Which is fine. Always have to say it each time, and all the witches are just doing okay. Did you see The Witch, the film?
The VV itch?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
It's one of those that I term, like, optimistic horror is the way that I would put it.
Optimistic horror.
Yeah, like, did you see Hereditary?
I did.
Spoilers for Hereditary. In the end, he becomes part of that group.
The husband?
He what's that?
This is the
The
Tony
the
Collette
son.
movie, right?
Yeah. You know how the son is, they want him to be like a vessel for their demon or whatever. The son?
I don't remember a son. There's the daughter.
Yeah, the son is the one who's driving the car when the daughter gets her head
Oh, that's right.
knocked off. Yeah, that son, right? They want him to be kind of the vessel for this entity. And in the end he joins them, and they're all, in that together.
Right.
And so, like I said, a little bit optimistic. If you're down for cults, that's a great happy ending. There are other movies like that too. There's a movie, and someone who knows more than me would probably be able to say what movie this is. There's a giant mutant turtle, and in the end of the movie,
The Never-Ending Story.
you find out that, so there's a guy, he's gonna kill the turtle, or try to kill the turtle with a harpoon, but it gets snagged on his foot and he gets dragged underwater or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And you see it going underwater, and at the end of it going underwater, there's something written on the turtle that was written on the very small turtle. So you realize that that this turtle grew big because of radiation or something. And it's just a very serene uh image of this guy getting drugged to the bottom of the ocean on attached to this giant turtle. It's like that's kind of nice. There are lots of horror films like that where the end scene is actually kind of pleasant.
Well, there's horror where I think you are, as an audience, your expectations of like who the villain is sort of flipped at the
Yeah.
very end, and when you realize that the monsters are really, I don't want to call them the good guys, but they're not as monstrous as maybe we were all led to believe.
Yes. That's a common thing that I like. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like if in the end of the horror film it's horrific, but there's something nice going on also. I like that. That's a nice little thing.
Half of humanity, or half of the people in New York City are murdered, but World War III is staved off.
What is that?
Watch
Did you make it up? Oh, well, yes. Yes. That
Depending
is
on what version.
something.
I'm
Oh,
talking about the
hey,
comic.
speaking about Watchmen, the TV series,
Yeah.
Damon Lindelof, Mr. Lindelof,
Mr.
has a
Davis.
new TV show that is just now going to be airing on Peacock. It's about a nun who is fighting an artificial intelligence.
And it's called None Ya Business.
No, but I like it. It
A
is
nun
called.
fighting AI
Yeah, it's true.
with nunchucks.
It's called. I think it's called Mrs. Something. Mrs. And it's the name of the name that they give to the AI. I'm gonna look it up. I'm breaking the rules. Breaking the rules, Ben.
I watched
Watch
the
me do it.
season finale of The Mandalorian last night.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. How is it?
It's good. And I saw the first episode of the BritBox TV show Why Didn't They Ask Evans? The
Oh, I love Why Didn't They Ask Evans?
Agatha Christie story written and directed by Hugh Laurie.
Yep. How'd you like it so far?
Yeah, I dig it. I'm gonna watch at least the second episode tonight. Maybe not the final two, but at least one.
So it is. I think it's really great, and it's and can I tell you a spoiler?
No, Evans did it.
Well, no. I was gonna say, in the end, you find out why they didn't ask Evans. That was my little joke. Mrs. Davis, it's called.
Mrs. Davis.
Yep.
And that Mrs. Davis is the AI that this nun is fighting.
Yep, that's right. It is his last thing that he did since The Hunt.
Is that a
Which,
movie?
by the way, I guess finally came out.
I've not seen it, nor heard of it.
Oh, it was strangers wake up and they find out that that rich people are hunting them.
The most dangerous game.
Yeah, it's basically like every QAnon conspiracy kind of thing is real, sort of.
Oh, good. Let's feel that fire.
And that's the thing is that the main characters are all or the people that were taken are all Southern, I believe. And it's there was a backlash against it where people thought that Southerners were being made fun of in it. Yeah, that sort of thing. So it is Mr. Lindelof who left leaning, so I could see how that might be an issue.
One would
You
assume.
can't tell, but I'm growing the mustache back. I've never grown just a mustache, so I'm very interested to see how it's working. So the top part of my lip feels like hook and loop.
So when we started the clock last week. That clock lasted 1 day,
Um, I want to say one day,
two
might have been
days.
less. But yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. I regretted it when I took it off. It was interesting being clean shaven for a while, but there's just something about me having facial hair that I like. And there's a piece to it
Yeah.
that
I, on the other hand, do not like having facial hair. Sometimes I do, and
no.
I don't like it.
You have a well-defined chin, Ben. It's helpful.
I
Whereas me, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, every once in a while I will grow facial hair, and then I'll take a picture of myself, and later on I will look at it, going, "No, what was I thinking? No,
Mm,
yeah."
what was I? You had sort of a Liverpool accent there. Uh,
What was I thinking?
hey, that's even better. Look at that. Um, so yeah, the big thing I would say is that when when my facial hair gets all one color, if it does, I'll grow my
All
beard
white,
out again.
yeah, and be Santa.
But there's just something about having, my regular beard and then this patch of white that made it look like I made a mistake. And I know that sounds weird, but so I was thinking about maybe just growing this part out and having this white facial hair, but having white facial hair and then the blonde stuff all over, that also looked weird.
I mean, it's not going to be as weird as like, oh, I can't remember where it was. I think it was a bar down here on Capitol Hill. There was a dude who was either an employee of this place or a regular, because I saw him there outside. Not that I went there every day, but I walked past it all the time. And so
Yeah.
this dude was outside smoking all the time. Older dude, full white beard, right? But because he's probably smoked his entire life, his mustache and this part of his beard was yellow.
Oh yeah. Tom Wisely talked about he had an uncle, I believe, or something like that, who had a yellow streak in his hair from smoking.
Yeah.
I seem to
Yeah.
remember.
It's crazy.
Oh, I forgot to say, Jennifer got into a car accident.
Oh,
She is okay.
Jesus. Good.
Um, but here's the story. She sent me to get vape juice for her, and she couldn't find parking, so she just let me off by the vape juice store. And I went in and I said, "Hello, I'm going to say some words to you, and hopefully you know what it is that I need." And then I said the thing that she wanted, and she said, "Okay. Now, first of all, I know you're buying this for a minor, and because of who I am, right? I said,
Jesus.
no, I'm not. I'm buying it for Jennifer Pratt, and she is 49 years old." And apparently that was enough for her to go, "Oh, okay. Look, I'm sorry. People come in here all the time." And I
Yeah.
said, "That's okay. If I were a guy here trying to catch you selling stuff for minors, then that would be, you know, the right
Yeah.
answer. But I'm not. I'm buying this for. So I'll tell you what. Let me buy it, and then when she picks me up, I'll have her come by the window so that you can see that's who it is." And then she was like, "Okay." She didn't care, right? It's one of those. It's one of those situations like a. She was like, "Okay, sure,"
She wasn't
you
going to
know,
hold fast to,
sort
to
of thing.
her assumption that you were
E-
buying it for a minor.
exactly. Yeah, I think I convinced her enough. So I go out and I say to Jennifer, "Jennifer, you just walk by this window for," and she says, "I just got into a car accident."
Oh,
So I'm like, "Oh, okay. Let's deal with that then."
yeah.
So, and the basic thing. Okay, so here's my question. She's driving in a parking lot. She's turning into an alley here. The car comes behind her and hits her here. And because she got hit, it's failure to yield, right?
Okay.
So she gets hit. In the report, she says that she was turning right, and she was hit by an on the left front panel by an oncoming car. And I still don't know if that's the right terminology, because I would think that oncoming car would be a car coming this way.
Hmm.
But I guess it doesn't matter.
I can see how it can be oncoming if Jennifer didn't yield. If they say she didn't yield, then she would have still been here, and the car would have been oncoming, right?
Okay, cool.
But instead, she turned. So in the process of turning, the oncoming car was now in the same direction.
I mean, that was her terminology, not mine. The way that you've explained it makes sense to me. So we've driven it to when we drove it to get an estimate, because we have insurance, and all that, and we drove it to get the estimate.
Prius?
No, this is the Accent.
Ah.
Which by the way, if you remember, it was not. We did not have an Accent at the time, but that was the genesis of the.
We didn't have an Accent at the time.
I need to return my Accent. What's the problem? You remember that, the Accent?
Oh
store?
yeah, the bad Accent store.
Yeah, it's too bad.
So you didn't have an Accent.
No. So we went to the collision place that we need to take it to for insurance purposes, and we're like, we're here to drop this car off, and they said, well, you don't need to drop it off. You this is only going to take a while, and then you can drive it back home.
Yeah.
And we had driven it there with the hazards on, going like 30.
Was the damage extensive?
At tops. It's not great. It's not doing well. So we're concerned that they might total it out. And then we'll just get some of the money.
Yeah.
I feel like if that happens, I want to get another Prius if we're going to get another car. Because the one that I have, I mean, there have been some problems with it and such, but it does really well, kind of. And you can get a used Prius from like 2012 for $6,000 around here.
They're plentiful.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, buying a used EV kind of scares me, because you hear all these things about how much it'll cost to replace it. Like, I don't know how long what the battery lifespan is like on those things, and so I hear these horror stories about how much it costs to replace the car battery.
Oh,
like you can buy a used Prius for $6,000, but what's a new battery going to cost if the battery craps out on you? 12?
I don't think so. We did have the battery crap out on us. I forget how much it was, but it wasn't 12. I know that.
Okay.
I would have clocked it if it was 12. I think the most I've paid. Apparently, the one thing about Priuses that you got to watch out for is that people will steal your catalytic converter. That's the main.
Not just on Priuses, everywhere you got to worry about your catalytic converter getting swiped is what
they wiped my catalytic converter. No memory whatsoever. Has no idea.
Doesn't even know what its job is anymore.
No.
That reminds me of a routine by Mitch Hedberg. He says, I was watching a commercial where they said, forget everything you know about slip covers. And so I did. And then they tried to tell me they tried to sell me slip covers, but I didn't know what they were talking about.
That's great. I do like that. Yeah. Oh boy. I that guy, man, too bad. I figure.
Yeah.
We had a chance to see a couple of different people here in Edwardsville when they came through. The one that I'm okay with not seeing Gallagher. I'm okay with not seeing.
Is he still touring?
Yeah.
Wow.
Corey Feldman also went through here. I'm okay with not seeing him. But Michael Winslow went through, and we didn't have enough money to buy tickets, and that would have been nice.
Just Police Academy sound effects for an hour and a half.
Well, he has a looper like Reggie Watts used.
Yeah.
now. So he does all these soundscape things and all that. It's pretty good. From what I understand, I wouldn't know because I didn't get to see him.
Brett Goldstein from Ted Lasso came through here. He played them. He played the Moore about a week ago, I guess, a little bit more.
Who
a
is
week
he?
ago.
Which guy is he?
He's Roy Kent in Ted Lasso.
Oh yeah, that
He's
guy.
also a stand-up,
I
a
didn't know he was
fan
a stand-up.
favorite, if you will.
Yeah, but he's good. It makes sense that he's a stand-up. I want to see him on Taskmaster. That could be just a catchphrase in general for me.
Right.
Paul F. Tompkins, I want to see him on Taskmaster. Master Blaster, I want to see him on Taskmaster.
The Taskmaster Master Blaster?
Exactly.
Man, Master
okay,
Blaster
so,
was one of my favorite Nintendo games.
What? I didn't know that was a Nintendo game.
Oh yeah, I didn't own it. I borrowed it from.
Did
a
it come?
friend.
Did it happen
borrowed it for
before?
like 6 months.
Before or after Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome?
I don't know. I want to say
Okay.
it's after because Beyond Thunderdome was like 86.
I want to say because I mean early MST3K. Can't we get beyond Thunderdome? They use that as a joke. I remember. Any reason? The reason I ask is that Master Blaster is a character.
85.
And oh,
And so I think.
when did Master Blaster come out? You can look that up. They'll tell you.
Master Blaster Nintendo game.
Because Master was a smart little person, and Blaster was a tall guy.
So the Nintendo game is Blaster Master.
Oh, okay.
And it came out in '88. Still, though, I maintain that it was one of my favorite games, even though I got the name backwards.
Who runs Barter Town? Master Blaster. Master Blaster what? Master Blaster runs Barter Town. That whole thing. Embargo lifted. Anyway,
I can't remember the last time I saw Beyond Thunderdome. All I remember is like the giant cage.
Oh yeah, that's right. Furiosa is going to be coming out at some point in time, starring that
Anya
one
Taylor-Joy,
who is in The Witch, which we already talked about, and The Northman, and The Queen's Gambit, and Last Night in Soho, and
The Menu. Don't forget that one.
The Menu. Yep, I have seen The Menu. Would you like to see The Menu? Yes, please. Okay, it's like 2 hours, so get ready.
No spoilers.
Yeah. So I have to say that having now watched The White Lotus and Infinity Pool, the two are not exactly the same thing for sure, but there are some similarities. It's all about colonizer culture, and the dangers or how little people and that's the thing. How little people consider others who they kind of exploit in some ways. The exploitation of people by people is in every single one of those stories.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
it's a human story.
That ending with the wife and husband thing, where she's like, "I'll be," and just the way that she looked when she told him that she would be happy.
She would really
that's try.
One of the things that I didn't quite agree with in the White Lotus season finale. Like, really, you're staying with him?
Well, no, that's the thing is, I think that's what we're supposed to feel. I think that what we saw, right, was her not getting the support she needed from anyone.
I saw that.
It almost fell. He almost fell. I caught him. Hi, buddy.
I mean, it was a very clever little switcheroo, because throughout the entire season, we're led to believe that she's the one who dies at the end, and that it's her body getting loaded into the plane that he's looking at. So it is a reveal when she's not the one who died, but then she decides she's going to be happy with her husband, even though she very much won't be.
Right. That's exactly right. I will say this. I was not thinking that it was her. And again, this is one of the ways that my brain works. Where's your wife? When they say, where's your wife? And he says, mind your own business or whatever. I figured that his wife had left him, but I didn't know who was in that thing. It was like, it could have been any one of them, which I kind of thought was nice.
It was very unintentional editing. I don't want to call it a trick, but like he gets angry and changes the subject when he's asked about his wife, and then he looks out the window at a dead body. So you, as an audience, you're supposed to put those two things together. Exactly,
and they did it well enough that if you aren't messed up in the brain, you've seen enough movies with me know that me going, I didn't think that it was this, doesn't mean that, like I have often not gotten the movie right because I've invented twists that aren't there, right? That sort of thing. So like in Signs, it's the ergot poisoning thing where everyone is insane because the water is poisoned and just makes them think that they're aliens, but they really aren't, that sort of thing. But I will say that the White Lotus, making it so that he stabbed the guy but does no jail time whatsoever, is also one of those things of, right, he's incredibly wealthy. And the guy did break into his hotel room.
Yeah, self-defense.
And it is proven that he pooped on the
I saw an interview with Murray Bartlett, and they were talking about that scene, and it's all CG, right? When he does the act, it's all CGI. And he says in this interview, and this was probably a line that he was given by a writer or something, but he watched that scene like at the premiere or whatnot, and to him it looked so real. He actually doubted whether or not he did that. He's like, did I actually poop on camera?
I mean, here's the thing. I will say this. You and I, right? If somebody were to say, oh, I think that you guys pooped one time, we would have known. We would have known. We would have remembered.
Yeah.
There are other performance artists, maybe not. That sort of thing. But let's see. There was one time where I was naked for that thing that Brett did. Were we both naked, or was it just me?
No, it was just you. It was a script written by one of his students.
Yeah.
And he wanted us to do
it. I think it was aliens, not aliens, but angels who were trying to figure out what torture was, or
the first few images of Guantanamo had come out, and so it was a new writer's rumination on human torture.
So then I do this. Is that what we're? Yeah. So I think that was it. That we were just really okay. Well, all right.
It was more for shock. I remember Pamela yelping when you got naked because she was not expecting.
Yeah. I knew someone yelped. I didn't know who it was. This is the worst theater I've ever been to.
1 star.
No.
Per exposed naked person.
I still remember the mystery box. I thought that was fun. That was one of the fakeroos where people thought that maybe I was naked, but I wasn't. Or was I? I don't
You
remember.
were. I
Anyway,
actually have pictures.
wait, I
And
was naked in the box?
yeah, you were. Well,
Well,
yes.
color me wrong as far as whether or not you'd remember something.
There are pictures, and there's one picture like we're all done, and so the box, you and the box get up and run away, and there's your exposed behind inside the box.
Well.
That might,
Interesting.
I mean, that might not even have been a part of it. That might have been a choice that you made in the moment.
Yeah, it is possible. Okay. But I would know if I now there is one thing that I did that it wasn't pooping in public, but um I did pee in the alley by Theodore F. Jackson in my suit before my wedding. I remember that distinctly.
Why?
It was one of these situations where like there wasn't time or I could have gone somewhere else, but I was like, this is something that I'm going to remember for a long time that I peed in the alley
This is
uh,
between me and the
for my
alley and
wedding.
that guy over there.
Yeah, exactly. So I knew that I remembered that I did it so that I could say that I had done it later. And I guess mission accomplished because here I am.
Yeah. And
Hey,
you're probably not the only one to pee in that alley.
yeah, exactly. That day, even
That
probably.
day.
So this is Edward.
Hey, Edward.
I bite Edward with my lips all the time.
Yeah.
You know, there's this whole thing about I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but the whole thing about kissing dogs on the mouth and it being a trope and all that. I don't kiss him on the mouth, but I do like bite him like this. And also, I like it when his little nose is wet.
Well,
I
I
think it
mean,
means that the dog is healthy.
they say that dogs' mouths are cleaner than human mouths, but dogs also eat vomit, so
Yeah.
you know, take what you can
Is
get, I
is it
suppose.
on average? Because like a dog's mouth is cleaner than Gigi Allen's. Well, especially now. Yikes. Um, because he's dead. I figure. I don't know though. I guess eventually, after you've been dead for a while, maybe your mouth is clean again.
At some point, all the bacteria dies.
Yeah, but you might have like I don't know slough or whatever inside your mouth, which would be gross. Oh, the remains of my gums. How wonderful, or whatever.
That is the worst
Have you ever
Brad Pitt
seen a
movie ever.
mummified cat? What? I'm
Remains
sorry.
of My
We both said,
Gums. That is the worst Brad Pitt movie ever.
yeah. Um, I just remember this. I had a science teacher who brought in a mummified cat, or it's actually maybe just in his classroom. A cat that had been smashed by a an elevator that he then had. That was like, and you could touch it and stuff. It was weird.
I haven't seen a mummified cat in person, but I was watching one of those hoarder TV shows once, and that kind of stuff happens all the time on those shows. And they're like cleaning out the garage, and they lift up like a garbage bag, and there's a mummified cat underneath it.
There was a guy at one point in time, maybe it was a woman, I forget, who would feed a whole bunch of rats that they had in their apartment. They would buy a bag of potato chips, crush it up, and just throw it like you're feeding birds
Yeah.
and stuff. Which I think is, I would, here's what I would think. I could be wrong. But if you get into some sort of symbiotic relationship with the rats, eventually they would become cute to you. They are they're cute enough to maybe become domesticated. I mean, people have them as pets.
Yeah.
There's
I
that.
mean, the problem with
There's that
rats isn't
one.
that I don't think people don't find them cute. The problem with rats is that, rats carry tons of diseases. And so you want to make sure
Yeah.
that you get your rats from a reputable source.
Love, Death, and Robots. I watched all of season 3. It's just how I decided to play it. So there's that one with the rats. if you remember,
I haven't watched
or
it.
the mice or whatever. Oh, okay. Well, it's good. Have you seen any Love, Death, and Robots? Have we talked about this?
No, we talked about one episode where I can't even remember why, but
The siren and the night
I added
thing.
it to my Netflix queue, so it's Netflix will remind me it's there. But I actually have started watching a new cartoon on Netflix called Kipo and the Age of the Wonder Beasts. Have you heard of
Oh,
this?
how is that? No, I haven't.
It's good. I've seen 2 episodes so far.
I've started watching this new thing, Kipo and the Age of the Wonder Beasts. Oh, how is it? Oh, I hate it. Can't, but have to keep watching it for some
Got it?
reason. Yeah, okay.
I'm writing a paper. No, the lead character is voiced, or Kipo is voiced by Karen Fukuhara, who plays Kimiko on The Boys,
Oh, okay.
the
Yeah.
mute assassin, or Kimiko. I
Yep,
can't remember
yep.
if it's Kimiko or Kimiko. Kimiko, I think, or
Kimiko.
Moncour, as the guy says.
Moncour. Yeah, hey, speaking of which, I'm
Which
looking
which?
at myself right now. I kind of have that style going, pretty much. Except I
Oh
have
right,
the
yeah, Frenchie.
yeah. Yeah, I was obsessed with the French for a while. I'm still taking. Ooh, by the way, I gotta do my Duolingo after this. But yeah, so in Canada, I got a little bit of a chance. I think I mentioned this. A little bit of a chance
Yeah,
to speak French.
right.
Talked about Edward to them.
Morchien.
Broken English, very very bad. But they didn't. I mean, broken French.
Broken
Whoops.
French, yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't switch to English with me, so that was nice.
That's when I found
Um,
myself getting in trouble when I was in Paris. Is I would rehearse what to say, like going up
yep.
to a cafe or an internet cafe because I had to use one of those to check my email. And if I did it really well, I would not understand what they would say back to me.
Yep. One thing that they do, I've noticed in Canada, if they speak French, is that they'll insert it, they'll insert the phrase, and then they'll look at you to see if you like kind of clock what it was that they were
Right.
saying.
To gauge.
Yeah, man, I gotta say, Ben, I would. Toronto was a pretty cool city. It's like the biggest city in Canada, I think. It was nice. You know, if I had to do it, I could live there without a problem.
If I have to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, Um, but yeah, it was nice. I had a good time. Sorry, I'm still thinking about that piece that's missing from my ukulele and whether or not I need to put it on. Because here's the thing, it would spread that amount out, but in the
Yeah.
same way, it also made it harder to keep in tune, and the sound isn't as good. And the banjo that I had before didn't have that on it. So I'm wondering if it's necessary. Oh, I could write to the Deering folks about it. Maybe.
Or you could look up that sort of instrument on YouTube.
Well, the Deering people are the only people that make it.
I'm
So
sure
I'm sure there's
I'm sure they
yeah.
have a YouTube presence or a social media presence. You can even probably
Yep.
tweet at them. Oh, you don't have a Twitter though.
Nope. And never will again. Maybe. So yeah, how are things in the social media sphere? Is there anything? Ooh, wait, any news? Any news going out there? Any interesting things to ask me?
Here's
I'm not kissing you on the
something.
mouth. I'm kissing you on the nose.
Here's something that happened today. SpaceX launched a rocket today, and it blew up a couple minutes into the flight.
Was it supposed to, or was this an accident?
No, they called it like an unscheduled rapid disassembly.
Nice. What was it? Was it unmanned? Hopefully.
Oh, it was unmanned, of course.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think its total mission was to go up to a certain level and then come back down and land. It was like
Okay.
a spaceship, sort of like a really big, heavy rocket. So, I don't know all the
So
details. I just know that everybody was like, "Oh, it blew up."
I was thinking about this, Ben. I would not be comfortable going into space with people in general. I
You'd
think
rather
I'd
be
be okay
alone?
going to space by myself, right? And just living alone in space for the rest of my days.
That way I can poop anywhere.
Exactly. Um, take that, White Lotus. Um, no, but and I know that sounds weird, but I think I might be okay with it. Um, but I think that I would be okay being in space if I was in space with a certain number of like a certain group of people, right? So if I was in space with um a big ship, a big spaceship with like 10,000 people, I would be okay.
So in space with
You
like a
know,
small town.
like a small town, what amount of people would you be comfortable with
In space?
or isolated with? Because
Well, you're
this
not
is the thing I'm thinking. If you're isolated with a small town, you're not really isolated, right? There's enough
correct.
people that you feel comfortable. And you could actually be friends with someone and then have a falling out and still be um in we should talk about this. Can I change subjects really quick?
All right.
One of the things on my list that they asked was how many close friends do or how many friends do I have?
Yeah.
And I had a really hard time answering. So I said like 10 because I don't know what they mean by friend, right?
Yeah.
And I thought about it as people who would let me use their bathroom. I think about 10. Um, and then it said, Ben, and this is where, we don't have that much longer, but then he said, tell us about your best friend. And I said, Ben Lawrence is my comedy partner. And that was it. Um,
And they're
so
like, "Why
so
are you
that's
deflecting?"
yeah. What? No, I don't have a lot of space. So so I was like, okay, Ben, and this is what it is. And it made me realize, um, it's sort of like I say to Betty, well, we're not friends, we're father and daughter, and that's a different relationship. In the
Yeah.
same way, I don't need you to tell me whether or not you're my best friend, Ben. We're comedy partners, and this is why I put it. It's a different I mean, we have a bond that is different. A friend might be someone that you go fishing with, whatever.
Yeah.
So the reason that I put that down, it's not a deflection. It's a you say whatever you want to what a best friend is, sir. But the most important person, uh, besides my wife, who also doesn't fit this thing because the relationship between and so I feel like when I explain all this, when you ask me this question, I explain all this, it will only help the diagnosis of some
Right.
kind.
He's like, "You're perfect
Because
for
they're going to
this
say
study."
this is not what none of this is what we cared about, but it's exactly what we wanted to hear. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking about which, Ben, we are at the end of today's podcast.
Oh, we've reached that
So I
time,
will,
have we?
yep, I will talk to you more, and maybe I'll talk to you immediately afterwards about secret stuff that the audience cannot hear.
All right. In that case,
And
Paul Goody, I bid you a keep it wrong.
all right, Ben, I'll see you later. And until I say to you, how's it happening? I want you to keep it